They call it Stormy Monday, but Tuesday is bad as well. It's Tuesday, May 29, and this is Lake News live on air with Florian. Coming up on this show, we look behind the scenes of LakeMUN with a special issue of Lake News. We feature the latest development of the crises, and we prepared a roundtable with the most interesting delegates from the Security Council. We promise you action and heart attacks. This is Lake News. But first of all, here's the news. Security Council working on resolutions. Exciting development in LakeMUN's most powerful committee. The third conference day has been exciting and turbulent for the Security Council. After having further elaborated on the question on who is going to pay for the UN intervention in Somalia, yesterday's crisis has been intensifying ever since. The people of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia overthrew their government, leaving the Middle East unstable. Being one of the most important committees in the United Nations, the Security Council quickly decided to change the agenda to this peace-threatening, more accurate problem. In order to prevent those governments from crimes against humanity, some of the veto powers came up with the divergent and creative ideas to cool down the escalated situation. The evacuation of our conference center after the serious threat of a nuclear war between Pakistan and India arose was probably the highlight of the day. After all, it was a productive and long day with lots of excitement and important lessons to learn on international politics. Today's most scandalous rumors are coming from the Republic of Pakistan. Different news agencies reported the invasion of a Taliban regime. Since then, the United States are discussing a supporting invasion for the legitimated government. Israel, the Iran and India shall think about an atomic warfare to eliminate the threats from the new Pakistani government. Lake News exclusively portrays the delegate of the Republic of Pakistan in the Security Council and revealed the government's secret plans for the resistance. What is the actual situation in Pakistan?
Finally, the Taliban are in the government, and we're very lucky about the situation. And we just say we made everything we could, and now we reached our goal. And so the government is now the right one.
Yes, that's the best thing that could happen to this world, because now we can spread the idea of the Islam.
Can you describe the actual situation in your committees? Can you tell me something about your progress in your committees and the situation that you're acting in?
In the Security Council, almost every nation is against Pakistan except the nation of Saudi Arabia, and we're very glad that we can cooperate with this nation. But also Russia is willing to help or to talk with us, and we hope that we can find a compromise with the other countries. But if not, we also have our nuclear weapons, so it depends on them.
I can only say we have to deal somehow with these disbelievers. They will go to hell. I really feel sorry for them, but that's the way it is.
So what are your further plans within the committees? Can you tell me something about your working strategies? And can you also tell me how you're going to proceed with your nuclear weapons?
We'll see what the other nations are willing to do to give us, and what they want to do in the next few days or hours, so that we can decide what we want to do with our nuclear weapons, or if we really find a compromise with the other delegation.
We won't necessarily use them, but it's an option.
Sean, who are you going to aim if you use your nuclear weapons?
Firstly, India.
In the end, do you have some information about the former government and his future? Will they be executed or not?
Because we are very generous, they will only go to prison
for their whole life.
Human Rights Council making huge progress in the topic of areas of limited statehood. Due to the importance of the statement, we welcomed Human Rights Council's chairs Pablo Campbell-Pauli at the studios of Lake News to hear his impressive and exclusive statement straight from the committee.
Once upon a time, a long time ago, there were two chairs who sat at a table. And on that table, there was a beamer showing the first draft resolution of the Human Rights Council. They had lived through the highest highs and the lowest lows. They had sat in silence for minutes on end. They moved for motions and pushed for points. They added delegates to the speakers list. Truly, these were men larger than life. At the helm of their council, guiding it cautiously through the heaving seas of Indo-Pakistani relations and patches of Arab rebellion. And when all was said and done, they had survived, no, they had thrived, and the delegates were pretty good too.
After the furious interview of the Saudi Arabian representative in the Security Council, his colleague from the Human Rights Council raises the voice of the Islamic Republic once more.
The delegation of Saudi Arabia has to say that, as you all may heard, our lovely king has fled this morning. Therefore, we have a new government, which may be right-winged, but also respect the human rights, but the Islamic version of the human rights. And we stopped all our oil export to non-Islamic countries. We also wanted to say that we support the delegation of Pakistan to spread the Islam all over the world, as Allah is the only God and the Islam is the only religion we have. Therefore, we quit our friendship with the worldwide loved United States of America.
A storm is approaching at Lake Constance. Yesterday, Professor Dr. Matthias Garben from the Zeppelin University gave an impressive view into the future of the latest critical development. Today, all our expectations were exceeded. The Security Council and the Human Rights Council were evacuated. Pakistan was completely taken in by a Taliban regime. Rumors about the use of mass destruction weapons are coming into the circuit once more. LakeNews exclusively met Professor Dr. Ranjit Alabad, the Special Commissioner of the United Nations Crisis Management Committee.
The escalation of the crisis between India and Pakistan today came as a great surprise to most diplomats. I had the chance of talking to a number of high-level representatives shortly after the news broke, and most of them were stunned. While they had seen the progress the Taliban had made over the past years, none of them would have thought them capable of taking over government. So what is behind their threat of using nuclear weapons against India? Personally, I believe that Pakistan is using their potential for nuclear threat as a bargaining counter. They will not use it, knowing full well that if they did, they would themselves become the target of a nuclear counterattack by India. But they will make use of it. They will demand more economic help, better access to global markets, political freedoms. The much greater worry is that the Taliban sell the nuclear weapons to those who actually do know how to use them. The international community must find an answer to this quickly.
And once more, we can assure you to stay in contact with decision makers of the world to provide the latest information from the world's hotspot exclusively at LakeNEWS. After 3 days of intensive discussion and interesting bilateral relationships, LakeMUN will come to an end tomorrow afternoon. Time for LakeNEWS to review the conference with the highest representative of the United Nations. After a huge paper warfare, we are proud to present you a statement of Her Excellency, the Secretary General of LakeMUN.
1 year the LakeMUN team prepared this event, and now it's nearly over. At the moment we are still enjoying good discussions, interesting resolutions and a wonderful atmosphere. But it was a very long way. Finding schools, hotels, sponsors, organizing this event, being creative, prepare the content and all the little other details. While, of course, studying. That was all what happened behind the scenes of LakeMUN. And there were a lot of downs during that time, but a lot more ups during the last days, especially in the last days. After welcome the students on Sunday and having the first committee work, they get together on a city tour form the delegate to one huge family, even when they represent many different opinions. On Monday, the committee did a great job on the way to resolutions, which they're probably going to pass tomorrow, and we can't expect them to read. And after the workshop and the movie night, another exciting day of LakeMUN was over. Today's crisis was a highlight, and the LakeMUN team enjoyed to watch the students to assume the roles of the delegate and to get to know each other much more better. Therefore, we're really looking forward to tomorrow, to the voting procedure, and also to next year's LakeMUN 2013. See you then.
Simon and Garfunkel sing, "It's Wednesday morning, 3 a.m. I can hear the breathing of a girl next to me." But what's about the weather? This is LakeNEWS weather for Wednesday, May 30. 10% rain probability, between very cloudy and cloudy 18 to 20 degree, with some small sunbeams and a pleasant breeze from north and southwest. It's a great weather to keep Lake Constance in mind after your departure. So now listen carefully to our exclusive roundtable straight from the Security Council and then have fun at the delegates' prom. Celebrate like diplomats with champagne and caviar. And tune in next year once more when it's time for Lake News again. Thank you for an interesting conference.